Sexual fetishism or erotic fetishism is a sexual fixation on a non-living object or non-genital body part. The object of interest is called the fetish, and the person who has a fetish for the object is called a fetishist. A sexual fetish may be regarded as a non-pathological aid to sexual excitement, or it may be regarded as a mental disorder if it causes significant psychosocial distress for the person, or if it has detrimental effects on important areas of their life. Sexual arousal from a particular body part can further be classified as partialism. Partialism is classified as a type of paraphilia. Paraphilia involves sexual arousal to objects, situations, or targets that are considered atypical or not of the norm. Fetishism can also involve materials, including latex, rubber, or leather, or particular articles of clothing, such as boots, jackets, or high heels. Other common fetishes include belly buttons, body hair, fingernails, and feet. Another trend that has recently developed involves people binging on huge volumes of food in front of total strangers online. These videos are known as mukbang videos, and the viral clips show young women and men scoffing enormous meals in front of hordes of people online. Human beings have a near-endless ability to sexualize objects and experiences. Most people fall within a narrow band of erotic desires. But there are smaller communities of people who get turned on by things that the vast majority would never even consider to be sexy. One of these is called a crushing fetish. This fetish entails a person who gets aroused watching another crush objects, including food or bugs. Another sexual obsession or fetish called formicophilia involves being sexually aroused by being crawled on by insects. Another fetish called oculophilia is a sexual fetish for the human eye. This sometimes manifests itself in touching, licking, or rubbing one's genitals onto someone's actual eyeball. Some people profess to have an emotional bond and sexual feelings towards automobiles. This can include cars, bikes, airplanes, and helicopters. This is known as mechanophilia. Sexual intimacy with an automobile can be achieved in a variety of ways, including the use of the exhaust pipe. Other people are sexually attracted to inflatables. A balloon fetish is a sexual fetish that involves balloons. A balloon fetishist is also referred to as a looner. Some balloon fetishists revel in the popping of balloons, while others enjoy blowing them up or sitting and lying on them. Salirophilia is the sexual fetish or paraphilia that involves deriving erotic pleasure from soiling or disheveling the object of one's desire, usually of an attractive person. For some people, dressing in adorable furry animal costumes is sexually arousing. These people refer to themselves as furries. The term BDSM is a combination of abbreviations. BD means bondage and discipline. DS means dominance and submission. SM means sadism and masochism. The dominant versus submissive or masochist versus sadist relationship involves role-playing of unequal roles under informed consent. Often, people in a position of power in their daily lives enjoy playing a more submissive role, while people in a position of serving others in their daily lives often enjoy playing a dominant role. There are many theories on how fetishes develop. Some experts say that the formation of one's erotic development, or love map, is acquired in a similar way to the acquisition of language. It often becomes established at an early age and bears the mark of a person's unique individuality, like an accent in a spoken language. However, it can take a lifetime of self-discovery to realize one's own love map. Discovery may depend on certain experiences or exposure. Object sexuality, or objectum sexuality, is a pronounced emotional and often romantic desire towards developing significant relationships with particular inanimate objects. Those individuals with this expressed preference may feel strong feelings of attraction, love, and commitment to certain items or structures of their fixation. Object sexual individuals have a sense of reciprocation based on the belief that the objects have souls, intelligence, feelings, and are able to communicate. We see that sexual expression and arousal also exists on a continuum and are the result of a multitude of factors. Many of the factors that form one's sexual perceptions occurs at a very young age. Love maps may be influenced by several factors, including genetics, prenatal factors, hormonal fluctuations, association with objects, or situations that were present or imagined at the onset of the first instances of sexual arousal in childhood. Partialism, being considered a paraphilia, is somewhat controversial and a much debated topic among health professionals. Many types of paraphilia are not considered socially acceptable or are illegal, such as pedophilia or necrophilia. Partialism is a type of paraphilia that is more of an interest or sexual preference than a paraphilic disorder, and usually is acceptable between consenting adults. Partialism is only considered unhealthy if it causes you or another person distress or harm. As long as it is not impairing your functioning at home, work, or in other areas of your life, or harming others, such as children or non-consenting adults, it is not considered unhealthy. Partialism is the sexual interest with an exclusive focus on a specific body part other than the genitals. Partialism can be of any body part, such as the hair, breast, or buttocks. The most common form of partialism is podophilia. This is a condition in which a person becomes sexually aroused by feet. The foot is actually considered one of the most common partialisms. For example, eBay has silicone feet for sale. There are also many other types of partialism. The most important thing is for a person to be comfortable with their own sexuality and sexual expression. Sexual fetishism can turn into a disorder when it causes distress, prevents the formation of healthy relationships, involves illegal activities or risky behaviors, becomes an addiction, or results in damaging self-esteem. When fetishes take on such negative attributes, it is important to seek professional help to prevent unwanted outcomes. Sexual expression and arousal can be versatile and can take on many different shapes and forms. Mutual trust, informed consent, intact self-esteem, and having a strong sense of self are all very important to people, regardless of how one chooses to express their sexuality. If you would not be comfortable telling a person no, you should not be in a sexual situation with the person. A person engaging in forms of sexual expression that are new to them must know their limitations and must be feeling strong enough, comfortable enough, and confident enough to communicate their feelings, wants, and desires to others. Any person who feels uncomfortable, victimized, or out of control should seek professional help at once. Is fetishism a disorder? In most cases, the answer is no. However, too much of any good thing can be harmful. In the case of fetishes, fetishism is only considered a disorder when all of the following criteria are met. If the fetishistic activities are the foremost source of sexual satisfaction, and becoming so compelling or unacceptable as to cause distress or to interfere with normal sexual intercourse, and if this preference persists for at least 6 months and is markedly distressing or acted upon. The difference between paraphilia and a paraphilic disorder is now more clearly defined in the most recent edition of the Diagnostic and Statistic Manual of Mental Disorders, or DSM-5. The DSM-5 is the handbook used by healthcare professionals in the United States and most of the world as an authoritative guide to the diagnosis of mental disorders. The new definition clearly states the difference between paraphilia as a sexual interest or preference, such as partialism, and a paraphilic disorder that stems from that behavior. According to the criteria in the DSM-5, paraphilia is not considered a disorder unless it causes you to feel distress about your sexual interest, a sexual desire or behavior that involves distress, injury, or death of another person, a desire for sexual behaviors involving someone who is unwilling or unable to give legal consent, or a desire for sexual behaviors involving someone who is unwilling or unable to give legal consent. Researchers are not sure exactly how partialism works and what causes a person to become excited by a single part of another person's body other than the genitals. There are many theories. Some experts believe that patterns of erotic arousal associated with paraphilia are developed before puberty. One theory is that it results from an anxiety or early emotional trauma that interferes with what is considered a normal psychosexual development. Another theory is that early exposure to highly charged sexual experiences conditions a person to believe that a non-sexual body part or object is sexually exciting. Some people believe that culture may have something to do with partialism. Research shows that culture plays a significant role in preferences for certain body parts or shapes. Other experts have pointed out that it is difficult, if not impossible, to determine whether a person is really only attracted to a body part or if it's part of their attraction to one of the physical characteristics of a partner. The difference between partialism and fetishism is that partialism is a sexual arousal involving attraction to a specific part of the body, such as breasts or hands. A fetish, however, is a sexual arousal through a non-living object, shoes or lingerie. Here are some of the technical terms used for the most common types of partialism. Podophilia is the partialism of the feet. Trichophilia is partialism for hair. Pygophilia is a partialism towards the buttocks. Nasophilia for partialism of the nose. And masculinea, partialism of the armpit. Some words to the wise. Give, but don't allow yourself to be used. Love, but don't allow your head to be abused. Trust, but don't be naive. Listen to others, but don't lose your own voice. Thank you for watching.